Hey there, planners. Today we are doing a quarterly refresh in our goals for the final quarter of 2021. I cannot believe it, but yes, it is right here at the end of the year. It's the final push for our goals. I'm also going to be looking over how did I do in September on my goals and setting up goals for the month of October. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so looking at September, I think I did really well in the goals that I had. You know, I was focused on being alert to God's leading in several areas, really praying about that, continuing to work on a project for Planning Annie, this channel. I'm calling that Project Echo. You're going to see that show up in the quarterly refresh as well as the goals for next month. Also laying out content for the rest of the year. I have a pretty good start on that. I feel good about where that landed. For my family goals, it's all about college applications and really pivoting to the new trip since we were not going to be able to take our trip overseas. We did pivot to a new vacation, and when this video goes live, I will actually be on that vacation. So we successfully pivoted and got everything ready and excited to spend that time with family. I also wanted to kick off personal goal planning in 2022, and that's going to be a lot of what my Q4 refresh is all about, is really closing out this year successfully and really thinking about the year ahead. From a weekly actions, those healthy weeknight meals for game nights, I created an inventory of those and have been using those, and that's been really handy to have and helped pivot. And we kind of roll into athletic season after athletic season through the school year. So when volleyball ends, basketball starts, and so that's going to be coming in handy through the rest of this year. Making improvements to my work from home space. So I have been doing that. I picked just one area of my work from home space each week to update, improve upon, and I've been able to do that. And I'm really happy with the way that space is working for me now. And then daily Bible journaling, I did really well with that goal. There were a few days that I missed, but for the most part, I really hit that goal. So I am excited to turn over to the quarterly refresh and kind of talk about how that's going. Again, you don't need to use this system. This is the Cultivate What Matters power sheets. You don't have to use this system to utilize the structure, the tools, the processes that I'm using for goal planning. So let me flip over and talk about how you can conduct a quarterly refresh, how I conduct a quarterly refresh, and then look for opportunities to implement that for yourself. All right, so for my quarterly refresh, what I did was took the overarching annual goal and then wrote out what I believed I needed to do to close out this year successfully in that goal area, as well as start to plan for the year ahead. And each one of my goals kind of has that theme for the fourth quarter of the year. And then I went ahead and mapped out just, 4 to 6 steps that I needed to take to actually make really good progress from October through December. Keeping in mind that October through December is an extremely busy time of year for my household, for myself, from a work standpoint, from a holiday standpoint, family members in and out of town. We've got some big birthdays in the last half of the year. So it's just a really busy time. So I've tried to be very realistic with how I'm going to go about closing out this year successfully and being prepared for next year. So my first goal, my first annual goal, is all around growing spiritually and closer to God through study and prayer time. I have made really great progress on that this year. And what I want to do for the last quarter is to finish out 2021 with consistent study and prayer and really prep a routine for 2022 and make sure that's ingrained. That's going to involve finishing up my October Bible study that I already have picked out. I want to go ahead and map out what my my studies are going to be for November and December. And then I need to choose, kind of look at how I've been using my faith journal for the last quarter of the year and make decisions about how I want to do that in 2022. Do I want to stick with the system I have? Do I want to make changes to that? What's working? What's not working? So really preparing myself to go into 2022, carrying the good habits that I've established this year into next year. The next goal I have is all around longer term financial goals, making sure there's good foundation for financial security for my family that can weather any kind of changes. The changing world, it seems lots going on. I just want to make sure my family is insulated as much as possible and has good financial security and taking those steps. And that's really been my focus for this year. This goal, I will say, is a little bit different than the rest of the goals because this is actually a goal that my husband and I work on together as a family. My kids are involved. And so I have some of my items in here, but this is very much a shared goal with my husband. For the last quarter of the year, I really want to finish out this year, 2021, on budget and really prepare for 2022 by creating some routines and systems that will carry forward the good work that we've done looking longer term and make that more focused on, what does that mean for a month, a quarter, really getting down into the tactics of 2022. And so just 3 items here, keeping spending on target, especially for Christmas through the end of the year. That's going to be important so we hit these goals for 2021. I think it's completely achievable, but it's not something I want to lose sight of. Making sure I'm creating the right routines and tools to go into next year to carry with me. So really doing some work on what are those tools that are going to help me do that, and then incorporating those tools into my 2022 planning system. The last quarter of the year, I'm really going to be focused on how am I setting myself up from a planning standpoint for the year ahead, and this is one area that I want to make sure I incorporate. The next 2 goals are around health and family. So from a health standpoint, my overall goal this year was just to improve in all of the areas of health, physical, emotional, and mental, by really focusing on self-care habits. Not huge goals that feel overwhelming and make me want to quit, but just those daily habits, those weekly habits. And so for the 4th quarter of this year, I want to complete my 4th quarter detox. I do this twice a year. I did one earlier this year, and it's really a sugar detox. I spend, 30, 31 days just fully detoxing from sugar. I think that's really important to do before the holidays because the holidays tend to be a cheat time of year. So I want to put a game plan together for a Q4 detox, successfully execute that detox, and then really spend some time thinking about 2022 health goals. How do I carry over the good things that have happened this year and those habits that I've established? How do I carry those into 2022, expand on them where I need to, and set myself up for success and incorporate that into my planning system for next year? For my family goal, my goal this year was really to celebrate my family by being very present in the moment and preparing for what's ahead. So in my household, we've got big family changes coming in 2022. My oldest daughter is graduating from high school. She would be going off to college. That changes the whole dynamic of the house, and is, a pretty big milestone for her life and for our lives as a family. So for the 4th quarter of the year, I'm speaking into existence. We are going to get that college acceptance letter to the college that she wants to go to, the one that's at the top of her list, and we are going to celebrate the heck out of that. And I am so excited about that. I am speaking it into existence by writing it down. That is happening. And then it's all about starting the countdown and the preparations. And there's a lot from a parent's perspective. There's a lot I can do to help there. Really, thinking about, what does she need for college? What does she need for a dorm room? How do we start to prepare, make budgets for the shopping, the list, the preparation, the move, all of that stuff. And then also, the other thing I want to make sure I'm doing is she has a younger sister. I have a second daughter, and her world is really going to change. She kind of jokingly talks about, can't wait to be the only child in the house. But I think there's a lot of benefits to having an older sister in the house that she is going to really miss next year. And so I want to make sure I'm focusing on helping her transition as well. All right, and then the last goal is all about this channel. My goal for 2021 was to grow this channel into a robust community and a passive source of income for myself and my family. And for the fourth quarter of the year, I am going to complete the work on Project Echo. You guys have keep hearing about this, and I'm so sorry that I can't go into details about it. Hang on, you're going to hear about it soon. And the work that I'm going to do in the fourth quarter is all about preparing for that and making sure I'm ready to go into 2022 ready for that. I also want to get pretty specific about expenses and income for the channel. Not that there's a whole lot to talk about there, but just putting in the right systems so that I can track that and see kind of how it's growing from a financial standpoint. So I also want to go ahead and look at the first quarter of the year for 2022 and develop that content. And so that's one area I will definitely be seeking your input on. So that is the quarterly refresh and how the goals look coming into the last quarter of the year. I feel like I've got a really good setup. What you can be thinking about is looking back at your 2021 goals. What progress have you made? And don't beat yourself up. If you look back at the goals you set in January of this year and think, oh my gosh, I didn't do so well on that. What I'll tell you is that's the benefit of the quarterly refresh. Some of these goals have changed pretty drastically for me from what I thought I was coming into the year 2021 and going to be accomplishing. They've changed quite a bit. And that's okay. That's why we do the refresh, just to say, okay, how has this goal changed and what do I really need to accomplish? And this is a great time to really get tactical down in the details about what do I want to do by the end of the year to be able to look back at this and say it was successful, to feel like I accomplished what I needed to accomplish. So this is a great time to do that. And it can be small things. It doesn't have to be huge earth-moving things. It can be small steps that you take by the end of the year. So I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. How are you thinking about closing out the year, looking back at the goals you set for this year? Are you setting goals for the first time? Just, little mini quarter goals? That's a great idea. If you didn't really make a lot of progress, just wipe the slate clean, set some fresh goals. What do you want to accomplish to be able to look back at 2021 and say it was successful? All right, let me flip over and we will look at how I'm setting up October for success. All right, so I've already done my brainstorming for the month of October, and I have chosen my encouraging words. This month, the encouraging words come from Proverbs 24, verses 3 and 4. By wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding, it is established. By knowledge, rooms are filled with precious and pleasant riches. I just love this verse because it's such a metaphor for the home that I have, as well as the life, that my husband and I and our family were building, how to approach it from a process standpoint. I love, you start with a foundation, a house being built, and then, really establishing it and then filling up the rooms with precious and pleasant things. And under that are wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, which all come from God, our Creator, and really seeking that wisdom, understanding, and knowledge as I am coming into the last quarter of the year, closing out the things I need to close out for this year and focusing on preparing for the year ahead. So that is my encouraging words and my priority. And now I'm going to get to what my monthly actions are. So my first monthly action is going to be around my spiritual goal, and that is to complete my October study. So for the past 2 months, I've done a study on the attributes of God. I have done a study on the attributes of Jesus, and now I'm going to be in October focusing on the Holy Spirit and the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So kind of following that trail, it's been really great to kind of step through that. I am going to be sharing a faith journal setup videos very soon for the month of October. So you'll see exactly how I'm setting that up and what study I'm doing and how I'm going to be using that. So make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for that. So let me go ahead and capture the October Bible study. All right, and I added in one more spiritual goal for the month, just a small thing that I want to do. I want to go ahead and nail down exactly what the studies I'm going to be using for November and December are. You know, the Trinity study, God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit kind of go together, and I'll be wrapping that up in October, so that means kind of pivoting to November and December, and I'm kind of looking for what those studies will be for those months. I would love to hear ideas from you if you have recommendations for what kind of Bible study you will be doing in the last 2 months of the year. I would love to hear that. I do have a goal this month for from a financial standpoint, and that is to go ahead and make that holiday spending budget. And you know, that's the end of the year is a great time to blow your budget if you're not very careful and don't have a plan. And of course, being planning Annie, I need a plan. So I'm going to go ahead and make the Christmas budget, start thinking about gift list, you know, and it's, you know, our family of 4, as well as all those other gifts we buy, extended gifts, things like that. I really want to go ahead and get that nailed down. And I am going to be sharing that with you. So stay tuned. I've got some great ideas of things I'm going to share with you, kind of how to prepare for the holidays and the end of the year. So, and this is definitely one of them, how to lay out that budget and plan for gift buying. The next item I want to capture, you just heard me talk about. I want to at least get started on researching income and expenses trackers, tools that I can use in my 2022 planning system. So I don't know that I will, you know, find them, nail them down, get them ready, but I definitely just want to start doing some research here. All right, and then also from a health standpoint, I'm going to be doing a detox in October. I've got vacation planned in early October, but as soon as I get back from that vacation, probably from about middle of October till about middle of November, I am going to be doing my 30-day sugar detox. So I want to finalize that plan and get ready to put it in action about mid-October. All right, and then for a family goal, as I talked about in the quarterly refresh, I really want to start having conversations with my younger daughter about, you know, just kind of how she's feeling about her older sister moving away. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of focus with, through the end of the year, with college acceptance and things like that. So I want to make sure I'm giving her time and attention. You know, she might feel a little left out with all the attention and focus going on her older sister. And I know she's going to be processing some emotions about just the changes that are coming. So I want to make sure I have in October at least one date night just with her so that we can have some conversation about that and let her know that I'm thinking about her and give her the space to kind of talk through how she's feeling. And then lastly is a goal for Planning Annie. I want to complete the outline for the project that I'm working on and go ahead and pick a launch date for that project. All right, and then for weekly actions, I am going to only have one, and it won't actually start until about middle of the month, but that is to track my detox progress and make sure that I am preparing ahead for each week and really executing on that detox when I start it in about mid-October. And then for daily actions, I will only have one, and it is a carryover from the past couple months, and that is my daily Bible journaling. So I am going to take a minute and kind of decorate this page, make it look pretty, and then I'll come back and wrap up. All right, so there are my goals for the month of October. I've added in some stickers just to make it look pretty. It will sit out on my desk just like this, so I can come by and update progress, keep these in front of me, and really focus in on the goals. I would love to hear from you. How are you thinking about wrapping up this year, the last quarter of the year? How are you refreshing your goals for the end of the year? What goals are you thinking about for the month of October? Are you thinking about 2022 yet? I would love to hear all of your thoughts and comments and questions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this. And as always, thanks for planning with me.